So let's talk about sales a little bit. So there's this one more thing kind of situation on the sales call where, your prospect is, seems to be ready to sign, but now they're like just wondering if you could just throw this one additional thing for free. So how do you handle that? How do you shut this down and keep the deal going and alive? So again, when you respect yourself, when you understand you're running a business, when you understand you're not desperate for the client, and even if you don't have any clients, you cannot sound like you're desperate, then this is how you handle this. You basically tell them, okay, well, we're happy to add this to the scope. If this is happening on a sales call, and you're like, let's say you pitch them, you say it's going to be $5,000 for whatever the scope, and they go like, oh, cool, could you also do this for me in this price? And so that's a really strong curveball, because you're not ready maybe to respond to that, because it's like, just ad hoc random request. So what helps in this situation is that if you do have a kind of a menu, like a price list of what are the prices of your services specifically, then you can just say, oh, let me take a look, and then you can actually quote them on the call. But if you don't have that, if you don't know your hourly rate, if you don't know how to estimate this and whatever, then do not respond by saying yes or no. I mean, let me backtrack a little bit. If they ask you, like, can you throw this in for free? It's your decision whether you want to make that move to kind of get the deal or not. My default is to say no, not for free. I would say, sorry, like this offer has a very specific scope with a very specific deliverables, very specific time frame. If you would like to add this to it, I would be happy to scope it out for you and send you a quote. And so that's how I would handle it in general. I wouldn't agree on adding anything for free unless it's like super easy, super low key, and you can deliver that in like 5 minutes. That's no problem at all. But if there's any work involved, no. Because again, you have to respect your time, you have to respect yourself, and treat this as a business. So one other thing is that whenever someone tries to negotiate with you, and this is a negotiation, basically you tell them, hey, this is, it's going to be $5,000, and they say, sure, but can you add this? It's a negotiation. So first of all, you shouldn't react to it immediately by giving them the answer. It's completely fine to say, hey, listen, very good question. I'm not sure if we can do that. Let me take a note of this, and I'll get back to you within an hour, a day, a week, whatever, right? However time you need to figure it out. But do not feel pressured to make a decision right on the spot, because what happens if you do that, you're pressured, you make a decision, you get off the call, and you're like, fuck, I wish I hadn't said that, it's too much work, it's way more than I thought it would be, like all this other stuff. You start resenting the project, you start resenting the client, the relationship starts off very, very badly. There's no balance of power. They kind of pressured you. You feel a little bit inferior. They're superior because they got something you didn't. Don't do it. If you are considering adding something, tell them you will get back to them if you can. So what I would say is like, hey, listen, sure, good question. I'll get back to you within a day to let you know whether we can add this or do I have to quote it separately. Again, throw that in there so that they understand that there might be a price tag attached to it, right? So, and number two, when it comes to negotiation. So number one was do not feel pressured to answer immediately. Number two, whenever someone negotiates something, it's not for free. Meaning, if they tell you, oh, can we increase the scope? Sure, but for more money. Can we do this faster? Sure, but for more money. Can you lower the price? Sure, but we're gonna lower the scope. Right? So there's always a cost of negotiation. You give them the offer, you present them an offer, and that offer is including XYZ. There's a certain scope, there's a certain result deliverable in a certain time frame for a specific money exchanged for it. If they want to change any bits of those elements, the other elements have to change as well. Time, faster, more money. right? Bigger scope, more money. Cheaper, lower scope, or slower, right? So remember, there's always a cost of negotiation.